climate has reduced, all of that, and many others, floods, etc., are due to the effects of climate change. So developing a positive attitude is very key because that's when climate action starts.
Hello everyone, welcome to this exciting episode of our podcast, Driving Eco-Sustainability, My Perspective. I am your host, Grace, and once again, today we have a guest. His name is Liberty Christopher. He will share more about himself. We are going to be delving into Kampala Youth ABC for Waste and Climate Action.
Yeah.
And we are going to basically be discussing inspiring a mindset shift to take action against climate change. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Grace. Christopher Liberty, like she has mentioned, I'm a Chevening scholar. I went to the London School of Economics and Political Science, where I was pursuing a Master of Science in Development Management.
It's the only thing I knew about my guest, by the way, was that he's a Chevening scholar, one of the most prestigious scholarships in the world, and he's passionate about the role of education in social transformation, transforming our society, making people's lives better. So, and he's now currently having finished his master's. He's part of the Chevening alumni that is at the center of this Kampala Youth ABC Waste and Climate Action Program. So share with us, how did the Chevening alumni of Uganda take on this project? And basically, how did it come to take on this journey, and why did it choose this?
Okay, thank you, Grace. I think the first thing that I will start with is when I went to the UK, and I speak this for most of our cohort. I was in the 2021-2022 baby cohort. Woohoo, woohoo. Well, they can't hear me, so they won't answer. So when we went to the UK, of course, there's what we call cultural shock. When you go and you're seeing new things, everything is almost new. One of the newest things in my life was the waste bins, that I had to get time to get used to, because the bins technically in the UK require you to sort your waste. So you cannot mix waste. There's blue bins, green bins, I think gray bins, where you put different waste in different places. So that's one of the things that caught my attention, of course, among very many others. So we got to learn of the Chevening Alumni Project Fund, which is a fund created by the Chevening Secretariat to support Chevening scholars when they return home to develop impactful projects. So upon our return, we met virtually and bounced around ideas on which projects we should embark on. We had several themes, from education to technology to entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, many others. But along the way, we realized that we wanted to tackle climate change. So when we selected that general theme of climate change, we had to speak specifics of which aspect in climate change should we focus on. We bounced around ideas, of course, ensuring that we will at least have segregation of waste, ensure that there is climate change literacy in the population, so that we create a mark in the climate change space and contribute to SDG 13, climate action. So the long and short of it is we sat together, designed a project, and by the way, it was very, very competitive because Chevening alumni associations all over the world submit their applications. I'm glad to say our application was accepted.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit inquisitive actually, because you shared the waste sorting. There's the green bin, the gray bin, and the blue bin. Just out of curiosity, what goes in each bin?
I hope I remember, but I know that general household waste like food, I'm going to butcher this. I think, honestly, I don't remember exactly, but just generally, I know the bin that takes general waste like food, etc. Then there is a bin that takes like sort of industrial waste, like maybe metals or difficult hard things that do not decompose easily. Then there is also a bin that is for plastics. Yeah, so the whole idea is when the truck that is coming to collect waste comes, they will take it sorted. So when it is recycling or when they're going to dispose it off, it is very organized and easy. I think KCCA has provided some of those bins, but I don't know at waste collection level if it has reached that intricacy of sorting so that the non-biodegradable waste goes on its own in its own truck or in its own compartment. So that's one of the things maybe we could adopt either as a county or as a city, because it saves a lot. It saves a lot of labor for those who are working in waste, and it also creates a safer environment for all of us.
Okay, so share with us more about this project. You said it started when you returned to Uganda after your master's as a chevening scholar. So share with us, how did you settle on that theme? Because I'm aware that it's Kampala Youth ABC. What does ABC stand for?
Wow. Okay, thank you so much. So what I can share specifically for how we came upon Kampala ABC is the fact that we had like all resources, limited resources, both in time, because we are all the cheveners I know in that cohort are fully employed, so they do not have time to actually do a very big projects big as in laborious. Secondly, the funds. We had about £6,000 to implement a project, which was about 34 million shillings, which is not, it's not little money, but it's not money that can allow you to go big in very many instances. But I will tell you more because we actually utilized it very well. So in that line, we identified an area, a project area, which would be easy for us and which would be impactful, so that we effectively use our human resource, time resource, and financial resource. So the best bet was Kampala. And also we were targeting slum areas. So most of the slums are around Kampala or its suburbs. So that's those are some of the indicators that helped us to zero down to the project area. Now, the ABCs of climate action and waste management. The A stands for a positive attitude towards climate change mitigation, and then the B stands for developing good behavior that contributes to climate mitigation. So a positive attitude is a very, very, very good starting point, because there are some people actually still believe that climate change is a hoax, that it is made for the white man to eat money, that there's an underlying agenda. But I disagree wholeheartedly because we've seen a lot of change in the patterns. Most recently, the heat waves, where everyone was moving with a hand fan. Okay, I'm being a bit dramatic, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The heat was too much. People were showering 4 times a day, even those who shower once a week. So the point was, there is something that is changing, and it is most certainly climate change.
Yes.
I come from Kabale, a place which was known for being very, very cold, a place which was known for, having almost temperate climates. But at the moment, the changes have happened. When I was growing up, at about 5 a.m., you'd be moving around and there's fog everywhere. You sort of have, what should I say, like gray hair because of the fog. But of late, the fog has reduced. The temperate climate has reduced. All of that and many others, floods, etc., are due to the effects of climate change. So developing a positive attitude is very key, because that's when climate action starts. So B for behavior, everyone contributing in their own way so that we mitigate the effects of climate change. Then C is a community, creating an engaged community that is aware of the effects of climate change, that is also doing something about it, and is putting collective efforts. So C is community, collective action, collective efforts, where we all combine together. Another C word, where we all combine together to ensure that we are saving our planet. There's no any other planet, at least of now, that has life that sustains the human being. So if we have a sick planet, then we are passing it on to our future generation, which calls for everyone to be engaged, starting from a positive attitude and then turning that attitude into behavior, good behavior, and then us creating a community of collective action to mitigate the effects of climate change.
Okay, so Kampala Youth ABC. What's the age bracket we are looking at in terms of young people?
Thank you. So the primary stakeholder of this project, of course, the requirement was youth in slums.
Yes.
Because the figures show that in Kampala, there is about 1,500 tons of waste that is generated every day. And Kampala Capital City Authority collects only up to 40 to 50%. So that means 60% is indiscriminately distributed everywhere. So what happens in a city that is that has a large area which is slum areas? That means the channels are going to be blocked. If you see an example of Waise,
yes,
you're going to see places that are super flooded. They're going to have a lot of health effects. You're going to have diseases. You're going to have people actually not even being able to move from one place to another. So the focus on slums was to raise awareness, first of all. And we focused on a seed school, which was selected by our partner, Kampala Capital City Authority. So much of the work that we did was with Kansanga Seed Secondary School, like the name says, located in Kansanga, where we worked with youth in the school going age. So for that to be precise would be difficult, but I would say secondary school going children, which is about, I think, below 18 plus minus.
Okay.
Yeah. But, sorry?
So we are looking at So the program has been implemented in one school so far?
Yes.
Okay.
So plus minus 18 years of age. However, we have other components where we brought on other people on board of different age brackets, because climate change does not segregate
Yes.
on the age. So we brought on several people on board through several activities. Maybe I'll have time to walk you through them. But one of the several activities which we implemented that involved everyone was when we shot videos by activists, climate change activists, stakeholders from KCCA, stakeholders from the art and music and dance drama industry. We generated about 15 videos, which we've been sharing on the Shivning Alumni Association of Uganda social media pages, which has a good following. And I would encourage now all of you to actually check out the socials of Shivning Alumni Association. I think I'll share with Grace so she puts them down in the description so that you can follow on what we've done. But the videos were engaging people of different age brackets, people from different areas. We had videos from KCCA, we had videos from several climate change activists, including one of the budding one, Ariokot Faith, I hope I've not butchered your name, was Guinness World Record for
the tree hugger.
Hugging the tree. So we got some notable names to write on what they are doing already, to have them say something about the ABCs of climate action. That was to include everyone, not only the youth, but people of different age brackets. And social media will go across to everywhere.
Okay, so for how long has the project been implemented?
Okay, so the project started in October. We had groundbreaking activities in November. And it concluded, I would say it has concluded in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So anyway, education and awareness have been the central focus within this project. So in your view, what do you think, what vital role does education play in driving a positive attitude towards action for averting the climate crisis among the young people?
Okay, thank you. I think on this, I would like to first zoom out so that I get the general picture of where we are at in the climate action space. So what I can say currently is generally there's a large collective effort to enable that all countries reach net zero. That's the focus of most countries. And there are several mechanisms of doing it. But from COP28, there's a lot of discussions on climate financing. So, of course, COPs usually direct the discussions of climate change for a while. So the COP28 currently discussed importance of climate financing. And some countries have also gone into ensuring that they are buying and selling carbon credits. But I would like to speak specifically to carbon emissions and how it relates to both education and Africa. I'll speak for the African continent. To date, Africa contributes about 4% of the global carbon emissions as the whole continent. Then there are several countries that actually single-handedly contribute a lot to carbon emissions, largely through man-made activities. So the discussions are around buying and selling carbon credits, ensuring we are absorbing some of this carbon dioxide that goes into our ozone layer. One of the activities that is going to help, especially for Africa, I would say, is the role of climate change literacy. And that starts with climate education or environmental education. So the Paris Agreement in 2015 emphasized the role of climate literacy, climate education, because much of this starts from awareness. If you know what the human activity you're doing that contributes to climate change, then there's a high likelihood that when you've developed a positive behavior, you're going to reduce on some of those activities. And that's where climate education is central. That's why some of the universities are actually adopting courses, undergraduate or even masters, to ensure that there is enough education about climate education. Some other countries have gone ahead to incorporate climate education in their curriculum, starting from the base level primary education.
Yes.
Which is a good move, I think a step towards the right direction, because it ensures that we're going to raise a generation of more climate literate adults and citizens, and we're also going to reach the highest continuum in climate education, which is climate justice. So in between climate literacy and climate justice, there's very, very, very many other continuums. But the most important is starting from climate literacy so that people know the effects of their human activity. I can tell you for a fact, majority of the climate change that we are seeing is largely man-made.
Yes. So
if everyone is cognizant of the activity that they are doing that contributes to climate change, then we are off to a good start. That's why I say education is very, very, very important, especially among young people, because then we are able to raise a crop of citizens that are aware of their human activity and its effects and how it contributes to the health of our planet.
Okay, so as you have shared, climate education and literacy is quite the central point for driving a mindset shift towards advancing climate action among young people who definitely make up the majority of the population here in Uganda and also within the Commonwealth, which is the birthplace of the Chevening Scholarship, the people who implemented this project. So for us here in Kampala, one of the problems we have most that we are challenged with is plastics. We have a lot of plastics coming from supermarkets where we buy from things. And these plastics have been disposed of in places. In some places, they are the single biggest contributors to landfills we have around in Kampala. There is one in Kitezi that notoriously known, one of the biggest landfills. So in your view, how do you think we can inspire behavior shifts towards abandoning plastics and using more eco-friendly materials, especially among young people, considering this was also part of the central focus during the implementation of this project?
Thank you. I couldn't agree more, because at the moment, I think when you step out of your car or when you move out of a taxi, oftentimes the first thing you see is a polythene bag or a bottle of soda or a bottle of water, which is not pleasant to the environment, even to the eyes, and especially it being a city. It doesn't reflect so well on us as a country. I hope I will keep within the confines of the discussion and not be very emotional, because I think it is important that I deliver this well. First of all, I'll start at policy level.
Yes.
We have a law that bans plastic. Is it first use? Single use?
Yes, single use disposable plastics. Yes.
So I would appeal first of all to every stakeholder who has power to enforce this to actually start there. Because having a law is a very, very good starting point. And I applaud Uganda and the legislative bodies for that, because that is a very, very good start. What is left now is implementation. Passing a law is very, very laborious. And now that we already have, I think that would be a very good start for us to continue from there. So I'll start from there because it sets the culture. It sets the expectations of the country. If you go to countries which do not accept single-use plastics and which are against it, you will have to adjust as a human being. So I think overall, zooming out this at policy level, this is where it can be caught very, very well. I thought I would stop myself from comparing, but this calls for comparison. We have our neighbor, Rwanda. Most of the people who traveled across the border in Rwanda, they will tell you for a fact, you're not taking a plastic in the country. So you have to deposit it on the borders in Katuna at the Uganda-Rwanda border, which shows that we need a sort of draconian law that comes on strong and that is actually implemented, that, you know what, let's set precedent, let's set a culture that is against this kind of plastic. That's the first thing. The second one is also at policy level. Can we have disincentives for plastic use? One of the easiest ways is I went to a highly economic school. So the easiest way of disincentivizing citizens is by putting levy high tax on plastics, so that economically people are forced to get alternatives. And the alternatives would be eco-friendly plastic, bags, for example, which would be cheaper. So provide alternatives which are going to be cheaper. The other level that could reduce this is what we did with students at Kansanga Seed Secondary School. We identified one of the climate change activists, Faith Aweko for Reform Africa, and she trained them on how to make reusable items, how to upscale plastics to make bags. I wish I had come with a sample. So they made bags, they made jewelry, and very, very long-lasting bags, actually.
Are those the things that were sold sometime back?
Yes. So very difficult to break, very sturdy, very good bags that you can use for all purposes. So that's one of the other ways that we can do repurposing plastic, upscaling plastic. But of course, this cannot remove the 2 points that I made that are very, very powerful at policy level, and that also create a culture where we know, you know what, let's not do this. And maybe I'll share this example for when we were in the Chevening, the project conference. One of the insights that came out was hotels can also do a lot. Service providers can also do a lot. You come to the hotel, and you are told, no, we're not giving you plastic bottled water. We're going to, first of all, either give you an option of you come with your bottle, we put water for you, or we provide only glass water bottles. That is a deliberate action that is done by the private sector.
Yes, there are actually quite some hotels that have done that already. There are hotels. I think Golden Tulip has been one. I also think Latitude has been one that has done that. There are some hotels that have done that.
I think Latitude has done some of this, which is a step in the right direction. Also, one of the other policy, I'm going more policy today because I think it's at large scale, that's more helpful. Upscaling plastic is good, but it's mostly at a small scale. So to eliminate much of this, I think the most important would be at a policy level. So how we used to, I remember when I was growing up, we used to get paid. We used to get money for bringing back plastics.
Yes.
You bring back a bottle.
Bottles,
You bring back a bottle and you earn some money. Maybe you say, if you come with a bottle, we're going to give you, let's say, soda if soda is 1,000, we're going to sell to you soda at 800. So everyone is going to know, if I move with my own bottle, I am going to have soda for 200 shillings less. That's a start. Or incorporate the idea that we had before. Bring all the plastics and we'll give you money. Or you find a way of incentivizing, bringing back, or disincentivizing usage of plastics.
Selling to us plastic.
Yes, that can work either way. And I think this is within our stakeholders, specifically government, KCCA, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance can also do it at their own level. UNBS can also enforce some of these standards. So if you are, for example, a drinks company, I don't want to mention any, if you're a drinks company, ensure that you bring back the plastic that you produce. So there is no plastic that is going to be thrown around in Chitezi. These are very, very doable solutions. But we have to start at one place. Let's have a positive attitude. Let's have a can-do. Not leave it, I'll leave it to those ones. Let's also believe, no, I can play my part and ensure that I am having a healthy planet and I'm going to pass a healthier planet to my children and grandchildren.
Okay, so in the midst of all these, the need for policy change, the need not only for policy change, but policy implementation, because years ago, I remember there's a time where there was a temporary halt on supermarkets giving us Kavera as we walk out. Then there was a protest, and I think it came back. We started using Kavera again. Now, at the heartbeat of us having policy change, also making sure that people can accept to live with the fact that we can do away with plastics for the betterment of our environment is the community. So how well has the project incorporated the wider, you've mentioned this, you've hinted on this earlier on, but how well has the project embraced and incorporated the wider community within its activities and also increased their participation?
Thank you. I think one of the ones I'd mentioned, of course, was ensuring that we have digital tools that reach out to, that are not limited to place or time. That's the first thing, where we shot a number of captivating videos and shared on our socials to engage the wider community in the implementation of this project. Moreover, when we are having conversations with the Kansanga Seed School, actually the second day, the third interface with the school, there was a move around the community where people were taking collecting plastic and taking it to recycling plants, because we had identified a partner who said they are going to be able to buy the plastic. So there are companies that are actually interested in buying plastic because they're going to repurpose it, to reuse it, and to upscale it. That is a smaller contribution, but also a move towards the right direction. That's a second engagement. The third, I think, was on the recently concluded activity, which was the project evaluation conference, where we had an in-person event at Fairway Hotel on Easter Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah. And we had over 150 guests that were spanning from different areas, ministries, regions. I think the farthest we had a climate change activist from Soroti. We had people from different parts of the country. And importantly, I will talk more about leveraging technology to mitigate climate change. We also had a live YouTube engagement where people would join again to attend from wherever they were in the comfort of the offices. I think you said you attended the event. Well done. So that is some of what we've done. But even though the project has come to its end line, we developed an action plan, a 10-point action plan for one, cementing the outcomes of the project, but also ensuring sustainability. Because when we were moving, when we were engaging, all the stakeholders were like, oh wow, this is something we need right now. And maybe coincidentally, it was during the serious heat waves where people are like, yes, we need to plant trees now. We see how relevant this is. So it was a blessing in disguise that the heat waves came in the thick of our implementation. So convincing people of its efficacy was very plain and easy. Yeah.
So you've interacted with diverse people within this space and in the implementation of this project. Mm-hmm. Practically speaking, how easy has it been, or how challenging has it been to convince someone or to convince people that it's your responsibility, it's your choice, but it's your responsibility to ensure that your environment is better and to ensure that you deal with climate change? You tell someone it is hot, but it's your responsibility to plant a tree. It is hot, but did you know that when you get rid of this plastic, you're going to reduce on the sewage blockage system? So how challenging has it been to convince people that it is their responsibility? Because we have a problem. I don't know whether it's only here, but we tend to believe that our leaders are supposed to come and help resolve our problems as we sit back and wait and we leave it to them. Or people feel that like they have bigger problems. I have to look for someone's school fees. Don't tell me anything about climate change or environment. So how easy has it been, or hard? How hard has it been?
Okay, so I think I will stick to both, because at some point it has been easy, at some point it has been difficult, depending on one, the level of climate literacy, two, the prevailing circumstances, something I'd already hinted on previously. So the inception was actually much more seamless than we expected, because KCCA was on board, Ministry of Water and Environment was on board, NEMA was on board, of course the British High Commission, being our patron institution, was already on board, and they brought their weight with them. So the inception was seamless. Where we began to get a few challenges was on engaging, ensuring that people actually participate. Something you've mentioned.
Yes.
People still have a tendency of sitting back and believing someone else somewhere is doing something, or believing that it is the government that should take the first step. But when we were shooting the videos, one of the things that we asked our who do you call them? Okay, people who shot the videos and what they were going to say, we requested that they emphasize the importance of personal responsibility. Because you can actually start at your point to refuse to use plastic bags. In your home, you can refuse to collect unsegregated waste. In your home, you can refuse to leave the tap running. In your home, you can ensure that your children and yourself, everyone in your family knows that when they step out of the room and there's no one using the electricity, it is their responsibility to switch off the power. 1, good for the environment. 2, also good economically. So there are things that everyone in their own level can do. Secondly, the importance of personal responsibility, I don't think has been emphasized enough. So that's where we got a little bit of challenge where people were pushing the button to the another person, where someone was like, KCCA should do this, NEMA should do this. But part of our emphasis was, you know what? As we are waiting for stakeholders, let's see what we can do. You as an individual. If you're a teacher, for example, there are very, very many projects you can do. And the good thing is, I'm also a teacher by training. I wear several hats. I'm a teacher by training. I have taught English and literature in about 2 schools, St. Henry's College Tovu and NDJSS. Yeah, so currently there's a lower curriculum that emphasizes project-based learning.
Yes.
So as a teacher, give projects that are in line with saving our environment. They are very implementable, very, very implementable. 2, you're also contributing in your own way. You may be very, very busy marking, ensuring that you teach very well, but you've given the youth, the student, an activity. So in my view, I would give the credit to the teacher for giving a climate action related project activity in school, because that is their own way of contributing. And if we all have that mindset of, you know what, I may not be able to do it, but with my influence, I can have a set of people do this and in the end contribute to the climate action agenda. So overall, it was seamless, largely. The only glitch that we had was the role of personal responsibility and everyone owning the agenda and believing they can contribute in their small or big way.
Okay, so the project has finally come to its end.
Yes.
It has done much for the community within Kansanga. So share with us, how do you think you can ensure that, 1, the positive attitudes that have been built within this time frame, when from project inception up to conclusion, also the behavioral changes that have been made, are not for only are not a moment's thing, and they are going to stay with these children, with these young people for years to come, because the young people are the future of tomorrow. The climate change space these days, they say the young people are now. We can't wait for them to reach the future.
Yeah.
It has to be done now. So how do we ensure that what has been given now, what has been achieved now, stays for generations to come. They become voices, not only within their schools, but also their communities, for the greater good anyway.
Agreed. The young people need to start now so that they don't wait for when they're adults to have their role in climate action. And also, let's not push aside the old people in the agenda of climate action, because even though it makes it easier, majority of them still actually care about our planet. So as important as it is to engage the youth, let's also appreciate the role of our seniors who have contributed in their own way, in their own time, to mitigating climate action. Because at least we know there are steps that have been done, and that's why some of us are climate literate. So kudos to them, to what they did. Kudos to what to where we are now. Of course, although we need more. So what more has been done, and how can we sustain this?
Yes.
One, in the project evaluation conference at Fairway Hotel last week on Thursday, Kansanga City Secondary School was represented by, I think, 5 students and 1 teacher, their project lead, coordinator, patron teacher. In their presentation, they identified some of the things they hope can help sustain the project. One, I love that they came with what the products they had made.
Yes.
So that means the project already had things that were tangible, although it was largely a soft project talking about attitude, behavior, and community change. It achieved on both being a soft project, working on the attitude, something that is a bit complex because you may not have something tangible to show. But we were glad that they came with something physical, which were the bags and jewelry which they made. So as they were presenting, one of the banks contributed through their CSR and asked them to develop a proposal which they will look through and possibly fund so that they will sustain these activities. That was a big, big win. Secondly, we trained them on how to make products from waste. No one is going to take away the knowledge from them.
Yes.
So that is already sustainable. The third item was they asked that we create a climate action club in the school.
Yes.
Which will spread the awareness, the literacy, one in school, and also know how the impact of aware children, what they do when they go back home, what they change, how much change they can contribute when they go back home. What we are counting at the moment is the small wins.
Yes.
Where we are impacting on one child who most likely when they are going back home, they'll be like, Mommy, we were told not to do this. We were told this is bad for your environment. You know, there's the power that is in the voice, that small voice of a child. But that aside, we are also hoping that we get another opportunity to continue the outcomes of this project. I can't say much to that effect, but we might in the pipeline be having something that carries on onto already what outcomes were achieved. So that maybe would be for another podcast next time. Okay. But for now, I think that's what I can say in line to how we've sustained what positive attitude and positive behavior we've inculcated in our stakeholders.
I think along the journey today, we all agree that positive mindset, a change of attitude towards taking more responsibility is the foundation of dealing with climate change and enhancing and promoting environmental sustainability. Now, against the backdrop of future plans, as you've shared, would I be right to ask if there are any plans to implement or to come up with similar projects in other parts of the country? Because climate change is not only within Kampala. While people in Kampala may be dealing with waste, floods, people in other areas are dealing with there are people who are dealing with droughts. There are people who are somewhere dealing with the fact that there's a development ongoing and in the oil sector, and they feel like there is need for more environmental interventions. Other areas, people are dealing with landslides. So would it be premature for me to ask whether this is something that can be done in future within building on the achievements of the Kampala Youth ABC Western Climate Action Campaign?
Very, very timely question. And we've had several conversations with the British High Commissioner, Excellency Kate Irie, and she has, we have reached conclusion that we need more. How that translates to another engagement, I am yet to be sure. That's the first place. But in our previous conversations, we had important agreements on how powerful it is to start with the attitude change, on how powerful it can translate to actionable steps, on how Kampala is a drop in an ocean, although of course it has the highest population, but there are other cities in the country. You've mentioned of Hoima, there's oil exploration. I think they are drilling stage, I'm not sure. There is landslides in the eastern part of Uganda, Mbale, Bududa, and other places. Up north, we know of persistent droughts in the West Nile, Karamoja. Down south, we know of difficulties in several ways, especially those are at the border. We know also of the effects of refugees, the influx of refugees, either from Somalia, from South Sudan, or from DR Congo. Refugees also play in a lot in West Management's climate action because there's increased burden on the resources. Some of them are still going to use firewood, majority of them. Then we're going to have a lot of burden, both economic and social, that in the end translates to climate change effects. So apart from Kampala, we identify the importance of going to other places. Because they are also facing different challenges and they are playing in a different kind of context altogether. So the plan is to hopefully scale it, maybe again through schools as entry points. But on the conclusivity of that, I cannot say as of now because I don't know yet. It is still grey, but hopefully we will have something in the pipeline. One of the things that I can say with authority is when we talked to the commissioner who came representing the Minister of Water and Environment from the conference, evaluation conference, she intimated the importance of having youth in a group. And those youth in a group working together towards a unified effort. So that is something that she asked us to follow up on. And the good thing, she works with one of the Shivnas, was the outgoing, I'm not very sure of when his term was, but he served as the president of the Chevening Alumni Association of Uganda, Mr. Emmanuel. So the importance of this is in the ears of ministers, specifically of water and environment, and they know that there is need for concerted efforts. How that translates into another engagement is also something I cannot comment on at the moment. But I am highly positive that we are going to have something that carries on to what has already been implemented by this project.
Okay. At least there is hope for the future. That's something we can rely on.
Yes.
For now, you're someone who's so passionate about education. At least from this conversation up to this point, it has been very clear that you are passionate and appreciate the role that education plays in changing lives of not only one person but an entire community.
Yes.
So, are there any opportunities that you could share with young people who are interested in becoming more aware and gaining more through education so that they can broaden their horizons and also grow their opportunities?
Thank you. I would be a fool to not appreciate the importance of education. Not just education, quality education. I think everyone agrees with Nelson Mandela that education is one of the most important tools that can transform, change the life of everyone. All you need is to have access to quality education. Now, education is powerful, but quality education is much more powerful. I speak as a graduate of the London School of Economics. I couldn't believe myself when I was accessing such top-notch quality education. How did I? I am a son of a middle-income earner. She wouldn't be able to pay £30,000 every year for me to go to LSE. And most likely I wouldn't be here speaking to you because I wouldn't even have this platform. So that's how far good top quality education goes. It opens doors for you. What is possible for most young people? I think I'll again start with awareness. You have to know where the opportunities are because there's opportunities everywhere. You just need to know where they are. This is where I will start from. On my Twitter handle, I usually share scholarship opportunities. Now, I was in the space of seeking for scholarships for quite a while. So I learned the art of sniffing out for opportunities and crafting compelling essays, compelling applications, and developing award-winning applications to several awards. So I share both opportunities and a few tips on how you can one, present yourself. Sometimes some essays, some scholarship applications, by the way, do not need you to write. Some ask you to present yourself in a video, and they will use that to grade your competence. So I would like to urge youth, first of all, to harness the power of technology and use the internet access they have for bettering themselves and for continuous professional development. So I would encourage them to look for educational scholarships, look for fellowships, look for opportunities where they can present themselves. Because one thing I know about the youth, specifically I talk about the youth of Uganda, most of them have a lot that they can give to the world.
Yes.
But they do not have a platform. And what I know about platforms is you will most definitely have to look for it. It will not look for you. So I will start by saying use the internet that has opened and maybe in a way leveled the field, not yet plainly, but leveled the field in everyone getting a shot at an opportunity. I'll give you an example, maybe briefly, about my chevening journey. I began applying, I think around 2017.
Wow.
I had no idea what I was doing. I was sharing with Grace what my first application may have looked like. I would not award myself that scholarship because my essays were so bad. So bad. But I began with a thing, it was Hornby. It was a Hornby scholarship. It was for going to the University of Warwick. Yeah, Warwick in the UK. Miraculously, I progressed up to interview stage at the British Council. I didn't go through. But it gave me confidence.
Yes.
You know, when you're invited to interview, you're like, okay, I think they saw something.
Yes.
Because I think we were about 3 that were invited to the interview
Wow.
out of a pool of other applicants. Like, maybe they saw something. So I got encouraged and began searching for more. I would spend times on Twitter. On Twitter, I'll be looking, okay, scholarships. I'll go to Twitter, I'm like, yeah, okay, scholarships for masters. Go through. Then I learned the art of searching
Yes.
and narrowing down to opportunities that I need. I realized that there are opportunities that are available for me that I would be having a good chance of applying for. I wouldn't encourage you. For someone like me, I did history, economics, and literature, and divinity. And then you're applying for public health. That's a bit difficult for you to get a master's in public health. So look for opportunities that are within what you've done, that are within, for example, the professional environment you're in. Then from then, I began increasing the applications, improving the quality, and learned how to search for these opportunities. So in 2018, I think that's when I sent in my first chevening application. I told you it turned out very disastrous. I didn't progress to any stage. Then I got access to a WhatsApp group. It's called UG Scholarships. I was invited by a friend called Felix. He added me to the group. And then my eyes opened. People were getting webinars, people were being trained on how to write, on how to write their English tests, IELTS tests. They are being trained on how to apply for university offers. They are being trained on how to write. I was like, wow, this is good. So I camped on that WhatsApp group. I was very active, as you can tell now. I'm a very good noisemaker. Made noise on the group, became very active, and made friends. Virtually, there are some friends I met like very, very late in my application stage. So at that point, I grew also in confidence, applied for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. That's where the heartbreak came from. I was put on reserve. So I was, I think, first reserve. So when you're on reserve, that means when the person who was nominated from the scholarship does not take it, it is you next in line, in waiting. So I was talking to it was University of Exeter, still in the UK. So I was like, yes, I am going. So I talked to the administrator and I was like, okay, so I have an offer, I have a conditional offer. The condition was I pass my English test. So I sat and wrote the test. Gladly I passed it. I had a 7.5. So she was like, yes, everything is now set. I spent about 1.2 million for that test. So after getting the test, I sent her the results. About a week and a half later, they sent me an email. Bruh, the person has accepted the scholarship. I was like, oh God, I'm dead. So my dream to go to the UK died then.
Together with your 1.2.
With my 1.2 and my time, it was very sad and heartbreaking. I was talking to my mentor, it's called Olal, Dr. Olal Emmanuel. Like, man, what do I do? He was like, there is no quitting. This is a good move. The fact that you were put on reserve is a positive. Pick the positives out of it and run with it. Guys, if you're interested in applying for this scholarship,
and wait for another year.
Yes.
You have to patiently wait.
I had to wait. But as I was waiting, I was looking for the scholarships. I was applying. Literally, it was my part-time job because I wanted it so bad. And I was going to say, if you're applying for this, treat it sort of like a mini job. You have 8 hours for your employer. You have 8 hours for yourself. And 8 hours for sleep. I think that makes 24, right? So use that time to better yourself. Use that time. Do not cry that there is no time, please. There is time. Make the time. Okay, let me know. Away from inspirational speaking, 2019 was actually my year. As everyone was locked down, I used that time. I think I submitted like about 15 applications in that period. I applied. So I got some more free time for Chevening because that year I let Chevening pass. And I came for it when I was more ready. I think I got, out of those, I got nomination from MasterCard. I got, of course, rejections from other scholarships. I was supposed to go to Paris for Science Po under the MasterCard scholarship. I was also going to Netherlands under the Orange Knowledge program. And then there was also Chevening. So I decided that Chevening was more impressive and spoke well to my needs. And I think I preferred the UK much more.
Another reserve person died that year.
Yeah, unfortunately. Some deaths have to happen. So if I am to say that opportunities for young people to explore and expand their knowledge, I will speak mostly to the space I'm well versed in, scholarships and fellowships. They have opened doors for me. I don't know if that is the route you want to take, but if it is the route you want to take, because of course there are very many ways of improving yourself. I am not saying the only way of improving yourself is by going to study in the UK or US. No, that's not what I'm saying. But if that is the choice that you've made, which I will speak to, that's where I have at least some considerable experience. I've suffered heartbreak. I've overcome. I've been heartbroken again. I've overcome. And now I have a story to tell. I would encourage you, use the internet well. Get a mentor. Get someone to actually walk this journey with you. Kudos to you, Dr. Olal Emmanuel, Felix. I don't know. I can't mention all of them because I got a lot of support. A lot of support. Huaba, some of them, Huaba, I've never met her. She's in Botswana. When we went to the UK, I met people that I was working with that I'd never met. Sujan from a country in Asia, 2 from Botswana, someone from Lesotho, people I'd never met. But because there was a good wave of virtual meetings, we'd interact, we became friends. We had a group where almost 3/4 of us who were on Chevening interviews all came out as selected applicants. So create a network of people that you share these opportunities with. So you have a close knit of people who will help you, especially when the rejections come.
So one last question. Would you be willing to mentor someone within this journey?
Yes and no. I will start with the no. The no is I would not be willing to mentor someone who wants to be spoon-fed, because that means I'm going to take a lot of time, which I honestly do not have on my hands.
Okay.
The style that Olal used to mentor me is the one I would use for anyone who comes to me. So yes, I would be willing to mentor someone so long as they're able to put in the shift.
Okay.
I point you to the direction you go. Roll your sleeves, get your hands dirty. It's a podcast, but I'm rolling my sleeves now. Roll your sleeves, get your hands dirty. This battle is not for you.
Okay, so those who are interested in getting to know more about these opportunities, learning more about how they can take climate action, and basically getting to know more about you, kindly share with them your social media handles. I don't know if you're active on all of them, but feel free to share those that you are comfortable with.
Okay, I'm mostly active on X. So my Twitter handle is at Owobsinge, OWOBUSINGE, OWO, of worried, OBUSINGE. Maybe I'll share it with you. You can put it also in the description box.
Yes.
Yeah. But as a disclaimer, please come when you are ready to do the work. I'll point you to the right direction. I can have time to review some of your essays, but you write the essays.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. It has been an exciting episode with Liberty. He's also very passionate. For those who are interested in applying for scholarship opportunities, check out his Twitter handle. I will share it within the episode description. Also, for those who are interested in taking the very prestigious Chevening Scholarship, also, if you want to be mentored, be ready to put in the work. But for today, thank you for joining us. And that brings us to the end of our episode. Watch it, review it, like it, share your views as we journey with you on this journey of environmental sustainability, climate action, and involving the community. Thank you so much.